Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Home to Inspire DIY and Decor. This is Gwen, and today I wanted to share a really cute gingerbread themed banner that I came up with, and it came out so adorable. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let's get on with this project. So first thing I'm doing is taking one of these foam gingerbread that comes in a pack from Dollar Tree. I'm using it as a template, but before doing so, I did trim it down a bit. It was a little bigger, slightly bigger than this turned out to be. So I did just sort of take off a little bit of extra around all sides. So then I found this really nice camel color felt from Joann's, and I decided to use this for my gingerbread. It was the perfect color, so I went ahead and traced around that foam gingerbread template that I used, and then just went ahead and cut around the outline that I drew. And I am creating a banner, as I mentioned, and I'm going to make 5 like pennants, if you will. So it's going to be like 5 gingerbreads on like separate pennants, I guess is what you would call it. And so I did have to cut out 5 of the gingerbread out of this felt fabric. So once all my gingerbread men were cut out, I moved on to the next step. I decided to go with drop cloth as my background for my banner. And I really like the look of drop cloth. It really has that nice rustic farmhouse feel. And so what I did was cut 5 pieces to fit behind each of my gingerbread men. Now, in order to gauge the size I needed, I did use a picture frame from Dollar Tree, which you will see here shortly, and use that as my guide, and then sort of just cut around it just to get an idea of how big I needed my square pieces to be. Again, my main objective was to make sure that I had enough room for the gingerbread men to stick to, and then have a little room or leeway on each side, just so it had a nice flow to it. And what I do not show in this video is that I did decide, after cutting all of my drop cloth pieces, which again I just cut a slit in the fabric and then used my hands to tear the fabric into a straight line, and that essentially is what will create the frayed edge or frayed hem, which gives it a nice rustic feel. And you can see me here doing that right here. And then if you have any long strings hanging, you just want to snip those off. So here I'm just sort of getting an idea of how I wanted to fold my hem, because I will create like a hem, I guess, so that I can loop my string or my jute twine into. And you'll see at the end that I decided to go with folding it over to the back so you don't see it, and then you'll see how that whole process plays out. But I continue to tear off my pieces, and then before I move on to the next step of gluing my pieces down, which again you'll see here shortly, I did give all of my fabric pieces a nice ironing, just so that I'm starting off with a nice smooth finish, and then you'll have a more cleaner look. Also, when I was doing a dry fit, or sort of a sample of how I wanted to fold my pieces, I did essentially come up with an idea of how I wanted my fabric pieces to be folded. So by ironing it down, it gives it that nice crisp line, so that when you're gluing your pieces, everything is just super crisp. And you'll see what I'm talking about here shortly. These are the pieces that are all ironed. See how nice and flat they are, and all the creases are very sharp. That's exactly what I wanted, so that it looks nice and finished and it has that clean look. And then it also makes for the folding part of this to be a lot, a lot more seamless. So then I took some Aleene's tacky glue, and you can also use some spray adhesive, which probably will be a lot less messy and quicker. But I didn't feel like going into my garage to do this. I was working on this in the later part of the day. So I just went with the Aleene's tacky glue. It just worked out perfectly. And I'm just giving this a nice good coat of the glue, and then folding my pieces inwards, kind of like, you know, like an envelope. So you're folding each side halfway in, just where they meet down the middle. And then I'm going to use this really pretty sort of primitive looking sort of ribbon that I picked up at Joann's. It's a red and cream color. It has sort of like nice shimmer to it, sort of like mica flakes or something. It's not really glittery in my opinion, but it's just perfect for this project. And I decided to just hot glue a strip of that down the middle, and it hides the seam, and it also adds that nice decorative touch and element. And then I made sure to keep the ribbon length long enough to fold over on the top, because you'll want to, you know, make sure everything runs smoothly. So next thing I did was I took some of this pillow stuffing that I had left over from an old pillow, and I then just hot glued a piece of that felt gingerbread man down at some point. You can start at the top, you can start at the bottom, whatever's easiest for you. But I started with the top because it had more like a bigger area to glue, and then I started to insert some of this pillow stuffing into it, and I just sort of did little bits at a time, because if you overwhelm your gingerbread with all the stuffing, it will come out, and then it'll make it a lot harder for you to glue your seams down. So you'll want to work it in little by little, and then glue as you go along, just to, you know, keep everything in, and then make everything tucked and secured. So you just keep on with this process, just adding as much as you need to create like a stuffed gingerbread look, and give it more of a 3D effect, if you will. And and just keep going on with this step. Make sure that you do have to, you know, stick your finger or something a little bit more pokey to make sure that the stuffing is pushed all the way through the points of the hands and the feet, just so you don't have any flat areas, until you get to this point where you're happy and the gingerbread looks really cute. And I really love the idea of doing this, because initially I was just going to go with like a flat gingerbread and just glue it down, but then I figured adding a little bit more dimension by using that pillow stuffing would make it a lot better and make it more make it pop more. And then I decided to use some of this baker's twine in the red and white color, and hot glue that all around, just outlining this gingerbread man, just making sure that you leave a little allowance in the end, because you don't want it to be glued to the very outer part of it. You want to see that brown color around the edges as well. And then once that part was done, I did use a rusty jingle bell that came from that stem, and that I picked up from Joann's. I just cut out one of the smaller of the jingle bells and hot glued that directly to the center of the gingerbread man. But before doing so, I did take some buttons that I had on hand, and I did sew, with the help of my daughter, some thread into the buttons. So we're going with a faux looking sewn in button look, just by threading some thread into the holes of the button, and then I just hot glued the button down, and that was it. Super easy. And then here I'm just taking you back to this first step of making this. I'm essentially creating or repeating the same steps as I did for the first, and that is just to show you another time, more on a faster speed. This DIY was so much fun to do, and I really adore the look of this gingerbread banner or garland, whichever you want to call it. It's super unique looking, and it's a great addition to my gingerbread decor for Christmas this year. And I hopefully was clear enough in my instructions, or at least in showing you guys how I created this banner, and that way you can follow along and just recreate this look if you like it. Again, if you do like my DIY and are enjoying my content, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, I would urge you to please consider doing so and joining my creative YouTube family here. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. I have a lot of great videos in my playlist if you haven't already checked those out, and for future DIYs as well. So hope you will join me on this journey. Now I did repeat the steps 5 times, obviously, to create each of the banner pieces, but I'm gonna just show you like 2 or 3 times in this video how I made each of the banner pieces. I didn't want to do all 5 on video because it's all repetitive, same steps to it. And once I am done showing the first few steps in creating the banner itself and then the gingerbread, I wanted to embellish the gingerbread by adding like a cute skirt on the gingerbread girl and then like a little bow tie on the gingerbread boy or man, whichever you want to call it. Um, so you're going to see here shortly that I did embellish it. Originally, my plan was to just leave it plain and simple, just, adding the baker's twine that you saw me doing, as well as a little jingle bell in the middle. But then towards the end of making this video, I decided to just go ahead and add like a cute little ruffled skirt to distinguish the girl from the boy. And I thought that was a good idea, and it came out really nice in the end, and I was happy that I decided to do it that way. Um, I have 5 banner pieces, so it's odd number. So I ended up with like 2 gingerbread girls and then 3 gingerbread boys. So I made sure to alternate like boy, girl, boy. And then, like I said, it just came out super fun and adorable. And you can definitely go more detail with this if you wanted to make eyes or, like a natural facial features and stuff like that. But I wanted to just leave it because I was happy with the finished look, just adding that last bit of embellishment, which is like the skirt and the bow tie. So for the little skirt, I did create like a ruffled look just by cutting a strip of the ribbon. And you want to make sure that you cut a little bit longer than the actual width of the gingerbread's body. That is because once you gather the top part of the ribbon to create that ruffled look, it will shorten up that ribbon just a bit. So you want to make sure that you just leave a little extra on each side or just in general. And then in order to keep that ruffle shape, you'll want to add some hot glue along the strip and just adding it to hold the shape. And then make sure that you glue down the edges as well, again, just to keep the shape and the ruffled look of this ribbon skirt. And that pretty much did the trick. And I also added a cute little ribbon to this gingerbread girl, which you will see here shortly. I went ahead and cut another strip to create the other skirt for my other gingerbread girl, and then I just repeated the same steps. For the first one, I kind of went a little too short, so for the second time, I made sure to have a longer piece, and that definitely worked better. So keep that in mind if you decide to do this, that just cut a longer strip of ribbon, because it does help to gather your ribbon a lot easier and to give like a nicer, fuller look to your skirt. All right, now that the skirts are finished, I went ahead and made my cute little bow for the hair. And all I did was made like a simple shoestring bow and then used a piece of jute twine to cinch it down the middle and hot glued it in place. And I did use this red and white gingham ribbon, and I realized that it doesn't necessarily match the other ribbons, but I'm okay with that. I think it still came out cute. If you decide to make one for yourself, you know, you can create this however you want. If you want everything to match, that's all up to you, but I'm happy with the gingham ribbon, and the baker's twine I used to outline the gingerbread didn't necessarily match either, but you know, at the end of the day, it all looks good, you know, as a whole, at least in my opinion. So hopefully you guys like this idea, but again, you can customize this to however you want that fits your own style. Now check out how adorable these little gingerbread girls came out. I love them. Now let's move on to making the little bow ties for these gingerbread boys. Now all I did was I took a piece of the ribbon and I just removed like the wire from the sides. And in order to create like this cute little bow tie, all I did was create like a V shape on each side of the ribbon. And then I'm going to use like some hot glue just to glue the center part down, just creating that little cute bow tie look. So this is how it's going to look, and then all I'm going to do is just cinch it down the center, add a little hot glue to hold that fold into place, and then just sort of smush it into the little jingle bell that was already there. And I think that added the nice little touch that this needed to make this a cute little boy. And I think it made it super fun and more complete looking. And here I'm just sort of pushing the middle part of that little bow tie um, inward so that it sort of holds that shape. I wanted to make sure that this did in fact look like a little bow tie. So, I mean, you could have used like a piece of string if you really want to just sort of cinch it and make it tight. But I think that just adding the hot glue was sufficient enough. So I repeated that a couple more times to complete the rest of my gingerbread men. And I'm sort of flip-flopping, calling it a gingerbread man and a gingerbread boy. I just think that when I'm referring to the gingerbread girl, it just sounds more appropriate to say gingerbread boy. But at the end of the day, it's just a gingerbread man. So call it what you like, but I think these are super cute and fun. And once I have all of the bow ties added, it's going to be time to add all of the banner pieces to a piece of jute twine, which will essentially be the hanger, and to connect all of the pieces together. Now here is the completed look of each of the banner pieces. It's time to connect them together by using a piece of jute twine. You can also use a ribbon if you'd like, but I just went with jute twine. It's like the easiest thing to use, and it's sturdy. And it's also rustic looking, so I like that look. Here is the folded part of my the hem, I guess, that you saw me create in the beginning. And this is how I'm going to attach my jute twine. I created that little fold so that the jute twine can be tucked inside of it. And then it just sort of holds it steady inside, and as opposed to just, you know, like hot gluing it to the back part. I think this gives it more of a clean look and just keeps it steady. And it worked out perfectly. I couldn't be happier with the results of this banner. I think it came out adorable, as I mentioned already. I can't stop raving about it. It's super sturdy, very well made, and I'm just really pleased with the outcome. I think it's so cute, and it looks just like something you would be able to buy off the stores. And the great thing is that it didn't really cost that much to make it. Um, you know, drop cloth is fairly inexpensive, and you can use it for so many different projects. Like, it goes a long way. I've used my drop cloth for like other DIYs that I've created on my channel, and I still have a lot more material to use. So it's very cost effective, and if you were to buy this at a store already made, it would have definitely cost a lot more money than just having DIY'd it. So I hope you guys will give this one a try, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and give me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Let's take a final look. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. And happy holidays to you and your family.